drink do that to me. Welcome, I'm Rob. Live news commentary, newsmentary, as I call it, newsmentary. Turns out we found the fraud. It wasn't in the government though. It was in the health insurance industry. I don't know if you read the news about the UnitedHealth big CEO, Andy Whitley or some, who gives a generic white guy name. Andrew Whitty, I don't know. But the big CEO, not the middle management CEO, not the mid-tier CEO that got murked, but the top CEO steps down, and the Justice Department announces they're investigating United Healthcare for Medicaid fraud. Or was it Medicare fraud? One of the two. Now, I can't find too much information, and apparently because it is a new investigation, not much is being said. But it turns out the fraud was in corporate America all along. It's amazing how the powerful will try to shift the blame. It's the people, it's the scary neighbors, it's the others. Well, really, it's, the people who are stealing billions of dollars from you while you pay them every paycheck. Every paycheck. If you work here in America, the money comes out for your health insurance, comes straight out of your paycheck before taxes, and you give them that money so you can see a doctor, be healthy, and they turn around and tell you no, denied. We know a doctor said you should see them, but we got Wall Street expectations to meet, fam. Hope you understand. Good luck not dying. So that is a big story. Luigi Mangione's, Free Luigi, his defense lawyer released the statement of the year. If his defense lawyer and he are not co-people times people of the year, they should be co-times people of the year. Luigi Mangione and his defense lawyer, because I linked his website down below, or the website created by his lawyers to keep up with information on the trials and statements and stuff like that. And I don't have the statement in front of me. Mel, what's up? Head on my way to work. Who wants me to sign a legal document finding me to their company after they fire me and rehire me in a lower... Ooh, you redacted. I get it. You don't want to... Let me tell you this. Well, let me finish my statement. Luigi Mangione and his defense team should be Times People of the Year. My nomination. Can I get a yay? Yay in the comments or a nay? And if it's a nay, let's retract those statements. Can I get a second? I say Luigi Mangione and his defense team should be Times People of the Year. Anybody work at Time magazine? Is it still run by humans, or did the AI bots take over that too? Another fascinating story I got down below. Solus, what's up? You don't know who Luigi is or what he's arrested for? Well, he was arrested because he allegedly, there was an assassin who took out the United Healthcare Insurance CEO, Brian Thompson. Absolute dick. That guy, never met him, but I just know he was an absolute dick. And I say that he was an absolute Richard, a Richard the First, because he was the one in charge of the largest division of United Health. He wasn't even their top CEO, but he was the one authorizing AI, artificial intelligence, to deny your healthcare claims. And what that statement means is when you go to a doctor and they say, hey, you need to see a specialist, you have to get approval from your insurance. Your insurance, not the doctor. This is how crazy healthcare in America is. A doctor will say, you need this. And they're not the final say. It's a corporate, publicly traded company that you pay to be able to see the specialist. Every paycheck, they get to go overruled. Doctor doesn't call the shots here. Insurance does, and we need our stock to go up. So he's the one, Brian Thompson was the one who was allowing AI, artificial intelligence, to deny your claims. If you had to go see a specialist, if you needed cancer screening, if you needed XYZ, he was the one saying, oh, let's put AI in front of it. You know why? Because humans might have too much empathy and they can't make those hard financial decisions when it comes to people's lives. But soulless. So that guy, Brian Thompson, absolute Richard. He should have been Richard Thompson. Richard Buttkiss. That guy, Brian Richard Thompson, got murked in the middle of the street, 5 in the morning. And clever way to remember it is remember the 4th of December. It happened on the 4th of December, 2024. Never forget, folks. Never forget. We should make t-shirts that say never forget. And he got his life claim denied and got sent straight to hell. And Luigi was arrested for it after a snitch, some 50-year-old lady who works at McDonald's, snitched out the folk hero who is innocent until proven guilty. So hopefully everybody's caught up on who Luigi Mangione is. He is sitting in prison right now for an allegation. And right now, his defense team has made an absolutely beautifully insightful statement to the state and the federal prosecution team. And I linked his website down below. You go to his website and you go to statements and you can read it, because they say, you know, them seeking the death penalty. Deficit Donnie's Attorney General Pam Bondi said we're going for the death penalty. And they said them seeking the death penalty is not only like a historic precedent, like this hasn't been done before, but also quite an indictment on the people who are saying thou shalt not murder, so we are going to do a state-sponsored murder of you. It's quite fascinating to think about. What's up, Bob? Right now we're talking about Luigi Mangione, the patron saint of healthcare. And that there's news from his lawyers. They made a statement linked down below. And also that the guy who was assassinated, murked, Brian Thompson, his little company, the little publicly traded company, who the big CEO, who made a very tone-deaf statement, Andrew Whitty, old British white guy name, a very colonial name, let's just say that. He just stepped down. The stock price dropped, and the Department of Justice, I don't know how many news outlets, how many lamestream media outlets are carrying this story, but the Department of Justice just said we are investigating them for fraud. And this, I'm imagining, if it's a huge corporate insurer, the biggest corporate insurance company for healthcare in America, I'm guessing it's not on like the $100 bill side. I'm thinking we're talking maybe millions of dollars in fraud. And they run amok, you know, they own the politicians, they do what they want, and usually there's no justice. We'll see where this case goes. They want to make him a martyr, 100%, Bob. And the irony of it is they want to make him a martyr for murking someone. Which, how do you justify that? I don't understand. They're saying you're not allowed to murder, so we're going to state-sponsored murk you. Fascinating society we've developed here. Fascinating. Donald Trump is in Qatar. Everybody calls it Qatar. I don't know how you guys pronounce it. Qatar. It is the land. It's not the land down under, but it is in the Middle East. Not the Middle East of America, that's like Ohio, but the Middle East of the world, which I think if you're in China, it would be the Middle West. But tomato, you know what I'm saying, guys? Trump's out in Qatar taking open bribes right in public. He's like, yo, they offered me a $400 million plane. That's what the Qatari government, Qatari, that sounds like Atari. I wonder if any relation. Anyways, the Qatari government said, we're going to give you a gift, Donald Trump. And make no mistake, this ain't for the people. This isn't for the United States. This is a gift, a personal gift to Deficit Donnie. that is what you call an open corrupt bribe. And they're saying, we're going to give you this $400 million, the most luxurious plane in the world. I was watching a video where it was showing inside. It has like living rooms, dining rooms. I wouldn't be surprised if the motherfucker had a fireplace. A bidet. I know I had a bidet. And guess what? Our tax dollars are going to have to pay to have that whole plane taken apart and strip searched for listening devices. Because that was my number one thing. I'm like, man, if I'm in the most powerful seat in the world in America, and there's a region that's been known to, have a few issues, I wouldn't be taking a plane from them. The region that I help fund planes becoming used as weapons. I don't know. I wouldn't be taking it. I'd be like, thank you for the generous offer. Can I sell that on eBay? Or maybe I would put the plane up on Facebook Marketplace for a great offer. I'd say $400 million plane. We'll take 200 mil for it. Must have way to get out of here. And then I would just park it on the White House lawn like the Teslas he did, and just put a for sale sign in it. Be like, beautiful gift. But unfortunately, the Constitution says I'm not allowed to take any foreign gifts from princes, kings, foreign governments, foreign entities. So, while I'm doing my thing, just keep it. But that's not the America we live in, okay? Deficit Donnie is not only taking open bribes right out in public, saying, what would you do? It's not a bribe. If somebody gives you a gift, you take it. Yeah, well, I guess that's true if, like your neighbor brings you brownies. But you're also going to think, oh, damn, that's a nice neighbor. Either that or they're trying to put X-Lax in my brownies and kill me. But, you're going to think that's the nicest neighbor here. We just moved in and they are the kindest. And that's why you don't take those bribes, when you're the president, because they might influence your decision making. But here we have Deficit Donnie, old corruption himself. That's what his nickname should be, old corruption himself. Never lived a day within the law in his life. Golden spoon Deficit Donnie is taking bribes from foreign governments, looking for $1 trillion pledges from the Saudi prince. Even though, what's funny about Saudi Arabia? They live under Sharia law. That's Islamic law. And if you're caught, now we know Donald is a kid of privilege. He's a Nepo baby, trust fund baby. Always had ties to wealth, even before he was born. So this might not apply to him because of his wealth. I'm sure they're not punishing the wealthy people over in Saudi Arabia, Arabia of Saudi. But the laws within that country, not only can you not drink alcohol, but if you're caught adultering, guess what? You go to jail, you get flogged. That is criminal in their country. And it's funny because I think Donald Trump's not only been caught adultering, but I'm pretty sure he does it on, they got him on film talking about it. I'm pretty sure they got him on film talking about groping women. So it's just hilarious that the man, who's buddying with the Prince of Saudi Arabia, wouldn't survive a day if he was a normal folk in that country. He wouldn't survive a day. Not a day. It's West Asia. Ooh, Bob, I like that. Thank you. See, I've always thought that. I'm like, how myopic are we to call it the Middle East? When depending on your latitude and longitude in the world, how do we not know it's West Asia? Bob, I love it. You think like I do. Thank you. Appreciate that. But here's my point on old Deficit Donnie taking bribes out in the open. While he's getting a $400 million plane that our taxpayer dollars are going to have to strip search for recording devices, he's right before he went to get this $400 million plane, he's sitting here in America telling kids that you can't have dolls anymore. You can't have 30 dolls anymore. You can only have 4 or 2. And they're going to be more expensive. So buckle up. Tighten your belt. So Donald Trump has the balls to tell Americans, remember when he was promising his maggots that he's going to, on day one, he's going to lower prices and make everything affordable and make everything great. Well, it turns out he's been telling us, start preparing for Christmas right now, or any gift giving occasion right now, because dolls, you're not going to have 30 no more. But they're also going to be more expensive. The $2, the one doll you buy is going to cost as much as 30, and you're going to like it. How do you like that? Deficit Donnie. While he's at home in America, he's telling everybody to pay more for less. He's saying you're not going to get to have 200 pencils anymore. You're going to have 2 pencils. They're going to cost as much as 250. Meanwhile, he goes across the ocean and he's taking $400 million planes from foreign princes. How do you like them apples? MAGA? Is that America first? Donald Trump taking a $400 million plane while he's telling you your kids shouldn't have toys anymore? Is that America first? I'm waiting. Leave it in the comments if you think that's putting Americans first. You fucking morons. He is lining his pockets as fat. He's like the dude who lined his pockets with Ziploc bags and is filling them up. They're spilling out at the buffet table. He's filling them up. He's like, we're getting out of here, fam. We're getting out of here. Meanwhile, he's telling you, you only get 1 chicken tender and it's going to cost you the price of 2 buffet meals and you're going to like it. It's amazing how dumb and subservient Americans have become, all in the name of hating the others. I hope we can wake up. I hope this, I hope this maybe wakes you up. I hope maybe you put all this together in the context of Donald Trump. Before he went on a foreign trip, he said, no more $30 for the beautiful baby girls that are 11 years old. He said, no more $30, which, whose kid has $30? Like my kid, I think, accumulated $30, and then we donated a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, you accumulate that many, but you're not giving them all at once, $30, Jesus. But he said, no more $30. You could tell how rich and spoiled this guy is. He said, no more $30. Now your daughter will, your beautiful baby girl niece that's 11 years old, weird, will have 2 baby dolls. They'll cost as much as 30, and you'll like it. This is the guy who promised to lower prices and make everything better. Notice he didn't promise to raise wages or make houses affordable. But this is the guy who, before he went across the ocean, he told you, maggot, he told you, Trump support, old deficit Donnie supporters, he told you, you're not going to buy toys for your kids anymore. Not a bunch. You're going to buy 1, but it's going to cost as much as many toys. So now you get to buy 1 toy. It's going to cost the same as buying 30 toys, and you're going to like it. And then he flew to go visit and have a luxurious trip with the prince, where they shipped in a 18-wheeler McDonald's, because that guy's such a fat grease ball that he can't go to another country without McDonald's. So they literally greased him up with not only McDonald's in a trailer, so he could go outside in the 108 heat and say, give me French fries in a shake, give me a French fry shake. But Deficit Donnie got greased up with a McDonald's trailer, and then they gave him, while he's telling you you're going to buy 1 doll and it's going to cost as much as 30, and then they gave him a $400 million plane, the most expensive, most luxurious plane in the world. And on top of that, our tax dollars, mine included, are going to pay to strip search that plane. If you think he's getting it all willy-nilly, that's not how this works, man. That's the same reason why you can't take gifts from foreign entities, because you don't know what they did to it. You don't know who was farting on the pillows. You just don't know. But I guarantee you, that prince, when Donald Trump got in and went, luxuriate, frankly, these are the best pillows anywhere I've ever seen, the prince was laughing. He's like, we all took turns farting on those pillows. Enjoy your pink eye, Donnie. But more than that, there's probably recording devices. There's all sorts of hidden AI bugs in that. And our tax dollars are going to pay to strip search that plane. $400 million plane Donald Trump took, while he's telling you you're going to have to tighten your belt and not buy dolls. Are you okay with this world? Are you okay with this world? Are you okay with this? This makes me so sick and disgusted, it's hard to exist with people. Okay, I love my kids, I love my family, I love my friends, I love my community, but it makes me sick to think that people worship the ground that this guy walks on. They won't critique him, and not only due process is gone, but he's literally telling his audience to their face, no more, you don't get to buy much anymore, and the few things you do buy are going to cost as much as buying a ton of them, while I get the most luxurious plane in the world. I mean, the opulence and greed, these are gluttons of greed, and they're rubbing it in your face. It's sickening. And Americans are like, thank you, sir, may I have another? I've seen some people who believe that just because adultery isn't illegal in America, that it isn't wrong. Yeah, well, listen, I'm not here. Donnie there picking up his bride plan. Yeah, what's up, Alma? Samuel? Vackley? My good baby doll, Slay? Fox? I appreciate it. Hey, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. Much love and respect. I'm here to build a coalition, an organization of community-driven conversation and commentary. Because people need to wake up, especially if you're being fed BS by the lamestream media, where their narrative, narrow narrative is blinding to. I mean, when you watch these reporters and these so-called journalists, I'm like, I can't believe somebody taught you how to be a journalist, because you don't ask the president, would you consider this a bribe or corruption? You say, this is in the Constitution, specifically mentioned in the Constitution as corruption and bribery. This is why we shouldn't be doing. You have to just call it out. It is so gross, the direction of our country right now. And the fact that people are like, thank you, sir, may I have another? We don't need to eat food. You're right. Our kids don't need toys. Yeah, we'll just keep working more and more, sir. You go enjoy your luxurious plane. You numbskulls. When are you going to stand up for something, huh? When? By the way, RFK Jr., I hate that dude. He's such a scumbag, too. Talk about living in the lap of luxury. All these people are Nepo babies. If his name wasn't RF Kennedy Jr., he would not be where he is today, okay? He was a heroin addict, which I have no problem with. But have some compassion. Usually once you clean yourself up from addiction, you have compassion for the people that are also suffering from that addiction or a addiction. You're supposed to gain compassion. And here we have RFK Jr. trying to decimate programs that help people like him. But because he was born into the Camelot family of Kennedys and never had to worry about a day of money in his life, he never worried about heat, food, nothing. This dude's talking about rehab centers being affordable at $40,000 a month. There was a whole debate, you can watch it online, but a senator's like, sir, RFK, I don't think you understand. $40,000 a month is what my constituents make in a year. And if you look up the median household income, or not household, the median income of a single person in this country is about $38,000 a year. And RFK Jr. is acting like $40,000 a month is affordable to enter a rehab. That just shows you, Deficit Donnie, RFK, these people are disconnected from reality because they've never had to pay for anything in their life. Never. And I linked an article to that down below too, because you need to understand the people you're supporting. If you support someone like Deficit Donald, who says, I think I created the word equalize, and you're like, there's a whole goddamn trilogy with Denzel Washington in it that came out way before you just said that word, you might be supporting stupider people than yourself. And that's tough to do at this point in America. Or maybe they're not. Maybe you're like, yeah, equalize is a new word. Great. I just wish people would get more educated or informed, or just not feed into their bias, and these algorithms and viral fucking websites are feeding them all the hatred they can consume, so they hate their neighbor. Meanwhile, they go and pray on Sunday talking about love your neighbor. The hypocrisy and irony. Oh, sometimes it's so delicious, you think you get fucking comedic diabetes from it. My God. So yeah, RFK Jr. talking about a $40,000 a month, which, I don't know, $200 and something thousand a year rehab is what people can afford. When they're making 40 grand in a year, and you couldn't pay your whole salary to a rehab for 1 month. And if you know anything about rehab, you need to attend for longer than 1 month, especially if that month is February. 28 days is not long enough. 29 days is not long enough. But this is sad, man. You know, rehab should be one of those things that is just funded by our taxes. Our tax money is not going to anything that we need in our communities. And when are people going to say, "Hey, I pay my taxes. I want to see some investment in my living area"? You know, you don't want addicts on the street? Create rehabs. You don't want to see homeless people? Give them homes. These are proven things that have worked throughout history. Read Rucker Bregman's Utopia for Realists. That book lines this all out. Look at other countries and how they handle these things. Why is America acting this way? Somebody, you could tell America's never been in a real fight. Because they're running their mouths a lot right now. Oh, good God. What was the other thing? There was something else, but now I've been sidetracked. There was definitely something. There was more news stories. Oh, the other thing I wanted to address, because Gma, one of the subscribers, one of the fam, who listens and watches, she left a comment saying, I said the other day on a live stream that the minimum wage should be $66 an hour. And that would give you the same home buying power that boomers had in the 70s. So oh, hi. I've spoke with you guys before. You guys are, what's it called?
Missionaries.
Yeah, but what's the church?
The Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, Latter-day Saints. That's Mormons, right?
Yeah, that's an
Yeah. Listen, I'm good. I'm saved. I just don't buy into the denominational thing. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Some of the rules. I talked with some cats over at the grocery store before, and some of the rules you guys create, I don't believe they're very Jesus, you know? So I respect what you guys do, but when the church uses its power to control people's lives outside of what Jesus said, he said, once you believe in me, your actions will change, correct? That's what your faith is. Your faith determines how you act. So I think that's more of a show than forcing people into anything. So, but I appreciate you guys. Good luck in what you do, okay?
Yeah. God bless.
You too. All right, have a good one. Sorry, Catholic. Oh, Gma, I was going to address you. Yeah, the Catholic thing, that's just the Roman Empire co-opting Jesus. The Latter-day Saints, and those are nice young girls, so I don't want to go into it. Before it was these nice young men, and they wanted to talk to me. But, you know, the Mormons, they do some fucked up shit. I hate to put it like that, but that's how I'll keep it, because you know the vulgarity I use means I'm serious, and I'm not gonna paint it in a gentle way, and I don't like that, you know, just like Catholics. I don't like any of that. If you believe in Jesus, just say that. That's what I do. I need to start a new religion that just says we believe in Jesus. And you know what we believe? We believe that if you believe in Jesus, your actions will tell us that. The way you act. That's it. I don't give a shit what's coming out of your mouth. I know Jesus said, you know, the tongue could be... I get it. But you get my point? Like, my point is that once you get saved, your actions change. That's like the whole concept of believing in Christ, that you can no longer walk that same way. Once you've been forgiven of the sin, once you've been, you know, understood that he gave his life for you, you're like, oh, damn. You know, it's why... Was it Peter was crucified upside down? Because he's like, you can't crucify me the way Christ was. I'm not worthy, you know, and his actions changed. So you definitely entered at a weird time, Calvin. My apologies. I usually talk about news, but these Latter-day Saints people would be walking around trying to save lives. Or, like I told the boys, and that's why I said with the girls, I treat them a little different. I said, listen, I'm not here to help you guys, you know, get more money for your church, because at the end of the day, that's, you know, they're putting people in the pews to line their pockets. And until the churches start paying taxes like Jesus did, Jesus paid his taxes. He said, give to Caesar what is his, and give to God what is his. And he had Peter go take a coin out of the fish's mouth and pay the taxes. So even Jesus is paying the taxes. So if you ain't gonna pay the taxes, get the fuck out of here. You know, taxes help our communities. And when I watch churches shut their doors, like in Houston and Joel Osteen, shut their doors to people in need during a flood, I go, there's a special place in hell if you believe in that. And I also respect people not believing, you know. I would hope that my greatest testament to God, my greatest testimony is to God, is the way I live. That's all I hope. I hope that people are like, you know, oh, he believes in Jesus. You could tell because the way he treats people. That's, you know, that should preach louder than any sermon. There are good sermons, don't get me wrong. Listen to Martin Luther King speak. He speaks immaculately. It is bone chilling and how well he had to get from God. There are certain sermons that, you know, can bring you to tears. I've been in tears at church with my younger brother because the sermon was so good. But what I'm saying is that you can give a great sermon and turn around and go be nasty to homeless kids or hungry kids or Good Samaritan, you know, people that are not you, and you ain't going, you know, God don't know you. God knows the people that their lives changed because he affected them. No worries. You have some interesting ideas, brother. You made a lot of excellent points. Thank you, Calvin. But my other thing is, like, I'm not here to poo-poo on if you're like, I'm Catholic and I'm a diehard for the Catholic. I'm telling you, my experience with Catholicism growing up in New England was I had the leader of a church laugh at me and not let me get confirmed because I was honest with him. And I was like, I don't go to church every week, you know? I was like, we listen to our church on the radio. I don't go to church. And he laughed at me. He's like, you're not getting confirmed here. And I was like, oh, very Jesus of you. Thou shalt not forgive? Is that what he said? I don't know. I haven't read your whole book there, priest. But so I've had these people who claim to represent God act like absolute maroons in front of me. And that was at a young age. So now, you know, if we want to talk about it, we can. But my whole thing is the denominations are man-made. Jesus wasn't like, we need a Protestant, we need a great separation of the church, we need Latter-day Saints, we need Scientologists. Scientologists believe in an author, but you get what I'm saying. Like, Jesus wasn't all about, like, you got to make sure that you fracture the church as much as you can and all have a specifically different message and who needs to wear what underwear and when they need to wear it. It's fucking crazy to me. It's like Jesus was real easy, man. Jesus was, you know, about feeding the hungry, clothing the homeless, giving your enemies whatever they want. And if they ask you to walk a mile, walk 2 with them. Jesus is all about compassion and love. And that's what I try to preach here. Went to Catholic church once as a kid. I went all the time as a kid. 8, NYC, Los Angeles, or Boston. What's the better city? Well, you know, I'm partial to Boston. You can't ask me that. 8. But I love New York and LA. I hate LA for the traffic. Same with New York. Same with Boston. I mean, what are we talking about? Food? What are we talking about? Because you don't get better than Mexican food in LA. You don't get better pizza than New York. And in Boston, you don't get better lobster tails. Okay? So I don't know. What you got to be more specific. 8, Calvin. On the one hand, do you really have to? No. But for Catholic teachings, we expect it to unless we really can't. And I understand it, but I also understand Jesus meaning a church to be anywhere that 2 or more are gathered. So church was never meant to be some pristine, you know, painted golden archway like McDonald's. But Gma, since you're here, I wanted to address your thing. I said 66 should be the minimum wage for the buying power of small businesses. Buying power of people, boomers in the 70s, that they had to buy houses. So I've spent a lot of time in research and ChatGPTing, and I used up all my minutes on ChatGPT or however the fuck it works. And I was doing this to make a point, because really what bugs me is people consider small businesses, and now I got to go after this. People consider small businesses, when you say small business, when I say, I'm guessing we're all thinking the pizza down the street. Because tell me, unless you can tell me a small business where you go to get your toilet paper at. Tell me a small business you get your toilet paper at. Tell me a small business that you're, getting your cat food at. Those don't exist. Amazon, Walmart, and private equity has gutted any kind of small business, unless you truly have like a little convenience store which you utilize. But what I'm talking, and again, this will make my point. So when I tell them 66 should be the minimum wage, the most often I hear is, I'd like to support, or the people that are on the fence, they go, I'd like to support it, but I don't want to decimate small businesses. And my point is, small businesses in America are considered 500 or less employees. And I linked a link below about these small businesses that have maybe 25 employees, 30, maybe 100, that are making 25 million a year, okay? And this is what bugs me, because Tom Brady had a small business. Kanye West has a small business. All these billionaires have small businesses because it's less than 500 employees. But if you really think about it, 500 employees is a lot. I don't know the pizza shop down the street will ever even get close to hitting 500 employees. But I think not only do we need to redirect how we qualify small businesses in America, but I think we need to qualify them on what their revenue is. And I think that would be a healthier way. And then we could substantially protect small businesses, I mean, smaller revenue businesses, from the same thing that they have to collide with a business, 23 people that's a tech company making 24 billion or 24 million. And I included a link about, small businesses that are making millions of dollars that don't help our society, that aren't hiring a bunch of people. In fact, it was a brag about keeping it small is better, no overhead. So I just want to address that, small businesses, I think everyone thinks they're a cherished relic of the past, but they don't really exist in America anymore. So we need to push that. No, technically in America, it's 500 employees or less qualifies for a small business. That's why during the pandemic, you saw all these major players that could have easily supported their business on their own getting these PPP funds. Hold on. Excellent stream. I'm subscribing from Metro West. Oh, amazing, Calvin. Amazing. God is love no matter if you agree with the tradition of each denomination. We all have a lot of love for Jesus. And I agree that God is love. That is it. And God is dog backwards. And dogs are love. And dogs are probably from God. And I love cats. It's good. He was honest. A lot of people would have probably said, yes, I go every week because I want to get confirmation. No, I was honest, and I was expecting the lead priest to be forgiving. And instead, he laughed at me. When I went, I'll never forget, my mom in the car, she was like, so, you getting confirmed? I go, he laughed at me. So I go, no, I just see my mom fight a priest. Oh, no. No point lying. There are plenty of churches. You don't necessarily have to be Catholic, Protestant. No, I didn't get confirmed after that. That was it. We don't like their but we had more experiences with priests that were not on the up and up. So pay your taxes, priests. Pay your taxes, churches. All right. It helps the community. Well, we got to rearrange how we spend those taxes, but much love to you guys. Hit subscribe, please. Hit the notification bell. I do news commentary. I'm Rob. I like to bring things to discussion. I like to address things, and I love getting questions because Gma, you had me going. I figured out that if we did a wealth tax of 1.575%, we could give everybody 18 to 64 in America $1,000 a month UBI, Universal Basic Income. And I shared a bunch of stuff on the community pages. And once you hit subscribe, you can see my chats with the AI. And even AI was like, "Ooh, good question. You're picking up on the economic nuances." Because I was like, "Your math ain't correct, AI. You're telling me that." But you can read it all for yourself. I will pray for you to find a parish that accepts you. Oh, Calvin, this was when I was in high school. So I don't need to get confirmed to have God. Think about that. What's the confirmation process? That's pretty new, right? Within the past few hundred years. I'm pretty sure Jesus knows the contents of my heart, and I don't concern myself with the rituals or the idolatry that humans tend to consume to feel like they need to please God. I know that's very Old Testament, but when Jesus came, it was kind of a new thing. So, but I appreciate you, and I appreciate that. All right, guys. Have a good one. Much love, much respect. Please hit the notification bell. Hit subscribe. Then the notification bell. Please, I want to get to 2,000 subs. And I can't do it without you. And I love the discussion. I always love the questions. It was very good to meeting you, Calvin. I'm so glad you stumbled upon the stream. And I hope you join us tomorrow when I'm back. Much love. God bless. And much respect. And stay informed, okay? Stay informed. There's many tools to find things out. Don't take someone's word for it. Double check it. Check your sources. Look for a backup. Please, man, we need to be informed. When the president of the United States is telling people you're not going to buy 30 dolls, you're going to buy 2 that will cost as much as 30, and turns around and accepts a $400 million plane from a foreign government, that's broadly in your face and F you to the American people. And I don't stand nicely for that. So I'm pissed. But have a good day, Soul. It's good to see you. Much love. Peace.